The cosmos trembled as two ancient forces, each an avatar of unstoppable power, stood on the brink of collision. The Spectre, divine spirit of vengeance, and Cyttorak, the ancient god of destruction, were about to engage in a battle that would shake the very fabric of reality. But how did such a confrontation come to pass? It began when Cyttorak, ever hungry for dominion, sought to expand his influence beyond his crimson dimension. For eons, he had been revered, feared, and worshipped by those who sought his gifts of strength. But now his patience had worn thin. No longer content with mortals wielding fragments of his might, he yearned to impose his will directly upon the multiverse. With a whisper that burned through the astral planes, Cyttorak wove a ritual of unspeakable power, a spell meant to tear open the barriers of dimensions. The fabric of existence rippled, and for the first time in millennia, Cyttorak prepared to set foot beyond his eternal domain. Planets groaned in their orbits, stars flickered, and magical energies howled in protest. Yet, such an act did not go unnoticed. Across the void, within the shifting planes of the ethereal, the Spectre stirred. He did not sleep, nor did he dream, for he was judgment incarnate. The moment Cyttorak's influence reached beyond its bounds, the Spectre felt a tremor in the balance. He did not answer to the whims of mortals or gods, only to the will of the Presence. And though the Presence was silent, the Spectre understood his charge: to maintain order, to punish those who sought dominion beyond their rightful domain. The Spectre's eyes glowed with celestial fire as he stepped into the void, his green cloak billowing in the endless dark. His presence alone sent waves of cosmic dread across all realms. Even the lords of order and chaos turned their attention toward the impending collision. The Crimson Cosmos, a realm of infinite destruction and power, would soon know the wrath of divine judgment. The air within the Crimson Cosmos shimmered as the Spectre materialized at the edge of Cyttorak's domain. The land beneath him was not soil but pure, condensed magical energy, a landscape sculpted by the will of his master. Towering crimson monoliths, inscribed with runes of destruction, loomed over an endless battlefield where warriors long forgotten still clashed in eternal combat. Rivers of molten magic flowed across the land, burning with power unfathomable to lesser beings. And at the center of it all, seated upon a colossal throne of blood-red stone, Cyttorak awaited him. The god of destruction was immense, a behemoth of raw magical force. His body gleamed with arcane sigils, pulsating like molten veins beneath his indestructible form. His eyes, burning like dying suns, met the Spectre's own, and a low, rumbling chuckle filled the air. "So, you come, Spectre," Cyttorak rumbled, his voice causing the very skies of his realm to quake. "A servant of a silent god, daring to step into my domain. Tell me, do you come to kneel or do you come to die?" The Spectre's form flickered, shifting between states of existence, his essence radiating divine judgment. His voice, hollow and eternal, carried the weight of celestial authority. "I come to correct an imbalance," the Spectre intoned. "Your hunger grows beyond its bounds, Cyttorak. You seek to impose your rule upon realms that are not yours. The Presence allows no such transgressions." Cyttorak laughed, a sound like a storm crashing upon a mountain. He rose from his throne, towering over the Spectre, his power concentrated into raw, crackling energy around his massive fists. "The Presence," he mocked, "a god who's abandoned his dominion. Tell me, Spectre, where is your master now? If he is all-powerful, why does he send his dog instead of striking me down himself?" The Spectre did not flinch. He had faced gods before. He had judged worlds. He did not act out of pride nor anger, only purpose. "Divine justice does not need explanation," the Spectre said coldly. "I am here. That is enough." Cyttorak's eyes flared, and in an instant, the realm itself reacted to his rage. The skies darkened, the rivers of molten magic surged like furious waves, and the very ground began to tremble beneath their feet. The god of destruction lifted his hand. From the heart of his realm, a surge of pure, crimson energy erupted, forming a massive, burning sigil in the sky. Then let justice fall. With a gesture, Cyttorak unleashed a storm of destruction. Reality within the Crimson Cosmos warped, twisted, and imploded upon itself, a maelstrom of pure power that would have annihilated lesser gods in an instant. The Spectre raised a hand, and the wrath of the presence surged through him. The storm of Cyttorak's power crashed against the Spectre's divine essence, and the entire dimension shook violently. The battle had begun. The very fabric of the crimson cosmos buckled under the weight of two unstoppable forces. The sigil of destruction blazed above, a vast crimson sun of pure annihilation, its heat capable of melting even the hardest metals of the multiverse. Cyttorak, god of destruction, stood at its center, his massive form pulsing with the might of untamed magic. Across from him, unshaken and resolute, stood the Spectre, the divine wrath of the presence. The moment Cyttorak's spell ignited, the cosmos screamed. Crimson bolts of raw energy lashed out like the claws of an enraged god, shredding through dimensions, consuming whatever lay in their path. Entire worlds trapped within Cyttorak's realm, warriors who had fought for eons, land sculpted from eternal magic, were reduced to nothing in an instant, yet the Spectre stood unmoved. With a sweep of his hand, reality rewove itself. The world Cyttorak sought to unmake returned, their destruction reversed as though time itself had been rewritten. 1,000 crimson tendrils of destruction surged toward him, but the Spectre merely raised his gaze. The air around him shimmered, then froze. The destruction stopped mid-motion, suspended in the void as though held in the grip of an unseen god. Then, with a whisper, the Spectre erased it. Cyttorak snarled, "You dare deny my power?" His fists clenched, and from the depths of his being he summoned something far greater. A crimson oblivion, a wave of pure, absolute annihilation, the very essence of his godhood, surged forward. It was not just magic. It was the very concept of destruction itself. The Spectre turned toward it, and for the first time, his glowing eyes narrowed. Enough! With those words, he lifted a hand and the heavens screamed. A storm of divine vengeance erupted around him, forming into a colossal spectral hand, glowing with celestial light. This was no ordinary shield. This was divine law itself, the fundamental decree of the presence made manifest. The crimson oblivion clashed with the divine force. For a moment, all sound ceased. Then, reality detonated. The shock wave rippled across the cosmos, tearing apart the boundaries of Cyttorak's domain. Entire galaxies outside the multiverse flickered as the echo of their battle spread beyond time. Ancient beings, watchers of creation itself, turned their eyes toward the clash of titans. Yet, when the dust cleared, only one force remained standing. The Spectre. Cyttorak's oblivion had been undone. For the first time in eons, Cyttorak felt pain. His indestructible form, untouched by mortals, demons, and gods alike, cracked. A deep fissure ran down his massive torso, golden light pouring from the wound. It was not mere damage. It was judgment. Cyttorak had been found guilty. This is impossible, Cyttorak growled, his voice laced with disbelief. The Spectre's cloak billowed as he advanced, his every step leaving ripples across the very essence of the crimson cosmos. His voice, eternal and hollow, resonated through the void. "You were warned, Cyttorak." Cyttorak roared in defiance. His hand surged with power, but the Spectre raised a single finger. Silence. Cyttorak froze in place, his massive body locked in stillness. The god of destruction, the force that empowered the juggernaut, the being whose essence had fueled some of the most devastating magic in the multiverse, was now powerless. The Spectre extended his hand in golden chains, forged from the very essence of divine law, wrapped around Cyttorak's form. They constricted, glowing with power not seen since the dawn of existence itself. "I strip you of your ambition," the Spectre intoned. "No longer shall you seek dominion over realms beyond your own." The chains tightened. Cyttorak roared in agony as his power was sealed, his influence over the multiverse severed. Then, the Spectre raised his other hand, and with a single decisive gesture, he cast Cyttorak down. The ground beneath the Crimson God split apart, forming a gaping chasm of endless darkness. Cyttorak's form plummeted into the abyss, dragged by the divine chains that bound him. With a final, deafening roar, he vanished. The Spectre lowered his hand. The battle was over. The crimson cosmos trembled, its very foundations forever changed. The Spectre gazed across the realm, his eyes glowing with finality. Cyttorak had not been destroyed, for destruction was not his purpose. Instead, he had been judged, and justice had been served. Without another word, the Spectre turned and vanished into the void, his task complete, and across the multiverse, balance was restored.